Hey guys,
Hello,
we're back.
family, friends, guys, gals. We're back again. This is part 2. So if you're seeing this now, go watch part 1 because we're picking right up where we left off. Which would be that we went to our first mean OBGYN telling us to lose weight, take this medication, try to get pregnant, and bye-bye.
Right, and we did that for 4 months. Nothing happened.
No luck.
They really didn't want to talk to us anymore. So we decided to go get a second opinion.
Second opinion.
Another
Always great.
OBGYN.
Right.
And
which is obviously the right decision we did.
right, the doctor we talked to actually, him and his wife struggle with infertility. So he knew exactly where we were coming from, how worried we were, frustrated we were. Actually learned a little bit about what PCOS actually was.
Yeah, I explained it in the way that should have been explained to us to begin with.
Right, instead of just like, this is what it is, this is what you have.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that was about a 6-month period. So we had already been going for another 6 months. So we told him, it's a year and 6 months. We've had 2 pregnancies, 2 miscarriages, which is really hard to go through. And we told him where we were at. We said we wanted to do something more. We didn't know what more was out there. So, we had several appointments. We did the whole tracking my cycle again and doing blood work. He found out more information, told me I was intermittently ovulating, which means every other month I ovulate. Some months I don't, some months I do. So that would make it very hard to get pregnant. He thought that was the hormonal imbalance with PCOS, and the intermittently ovulating he thought was our struggle. So he suggested what a lot of couples get suggested with is, they have infertility medications you can take by mouth. There's really only 2. The first one we were put on right away for 3 months. It's letrozole. Tried that for 3 months. We really didn't get anything from that.
Basically, all letrozole and the dextrose and Tadabal, basically all they do is kicks her ovaries into overdrive.
Basically just helps to better facilitate your cycle. Helps you grow the egg, helps you ovulate, helps you just go through the whole process of the entire cycle. So this specific drug, these drugs don't specifically do one thing. They try to simulate what fluctuation of hormones are supposed to be going on in your body. And by taking these, that's supposed to help that. So we got no luck with 3 months on the letrozole. We were then put on Clomid. They always like to try you on the other one because sometimes the other one works better than the other. And Clomid seemed to have more of a success rate, so we were actually very hopeful on that. We did 4 rounds of that, and with our 4th round, popped up pregnant. We were pretty happy about that. We were looking forward to some excitement. We were concerned about miscarriage again, and so was our doctor. So they tracked our numbers. For you people who don't know, when you're pregnant, you produce a hormone called HCG, and that fluctuates. It's supposed to double over a certain amount of time. And as long as those numbers keep going up, the doctors are sure that, the pregnancy is pretty healthy until you can get your first ultrasound. But if the numbers grow up, they go up, and then they drop, it's an indication of miscarriage. So you kind of get told it's going to happen before it actually does. So of course, my numbers were low. They were concerned, so they brought me in for testing with that pregnancy, and they found that I was not producing a hormone called progesterone, which supports the pregnancy. They were thinking that was the issue. So we were like, all right, now we can do what's called these suppositories, and we can do that. That'll bring my progesterone up, and that should support the pregnancy and prevent the miscarriage. And we were so certain that it was going to happen this time because of that. Unfortunately, that was not the golden ticket for us. We lost that one as well, very quickly actually. it was very heartbreaking because we really thought, with the progesterone issue, that we were going to be able to carry that pregnancy, and we didn't. So we were still at odds of what's going on. We don't get this. So with that doctor being so concerned with how many miscarriages I'd already had, and of course with the advanced problems I had, that we need to delve even deeper into what's going on. And we agreed. So we were referred to a reproductive specialist. We're not too sure if we can even provide the name yet. So for
copyright reasons,
for
we're
now,
going to call this the baby
doctor. So we went to go see the baby doctor, which was, actually, we hesitated on that because we were worried about insurance covering it, stuff like that. We weren't sure how that was covered. Once we found out that pretty much any diagnostic type of stuff was covered by our insurance but not treatment, we were pretty happy to go in there and at least figure out what's going on, because there's got to be some more information than what we were getting. And we did find out that that was the truth. We had a lot of blood.
A lot.
Yeah. He got tested for his part of the situation. He came out pretty good. Some good swimmers. So they obviously knew he wasn't the problem. My blood work, on the other hand, came back a little bit screwy. There's some level they were checking that was really high, which indicated I have endometriosis. The doctor assured us that that was probably the reason for the miscarriages. So, sorry guys, I tear up about this a lot. So they suggested we get an endometrial surgery done to where they could, take out all the endometriosis, all the scar tissue, and also at the same time perform an HSG. Hopefully I can explain a little bit more in depth in another video about all this stuff. So you can kind of know the lingo when we're talking about it. And basically what they did is they went in, they took out all my scar tissue. They flushed out my tubes, which they found out one of my tubes was kind of blocked. So we got that done. I recovered for a month, waited for my next cycle to start, and they dove us straight into IUIs. We were kind of hesitant about it because we did not know how it was going to be covered, if we could afford it.
IUI stands for intrauterine injection.
Insemination.
Intrauterine insemination.
And that's just basically where we get monitored. We have to take certain injections at certain times. It's a whole process. I don't know if we'll have time to go into it, but it's a whole process. And they'll take his part, put that in me, and then give us a date to take a pregnancy test, and hopefully, ba-boom, we get our baby. So we dove straight into that. At the time, our insurance did not cover this, but the baby doctor was lucky enough to offer us, since we didn't have any insurance coverage, a deal where we ended up paying, I think it was, $1,600?
No, it was $800. $800 for two.
$800. It was a deal.
It was a BOGO. It was buy one, get one, basically.
Right.
Because each one cost $800. They gave you two for the price of one.
Right.
Basically.
And so if you didn't get pregnant with the first go around,
the second one
second
was
go around
on the house.
On the house, whatever that means. So we did that.
No luck.
No luck there.
With either one.
With either one, yeah. It was an eye-opening experience, and we weren't quite used to it, so it was really hard to go through. But then when the new year turned over, luckily our insurance decided to start covering this kind of stuff. I guess it became more in demand. I'm not sure.
They gave us 3 for free.
But that's per lifetime.
Yes.
So don't think we get some type of fancy deal. So yeah, we took advantage of those 3. Even though actually at the time we didn't know we were getting 3 for free. They were actually charging us, which is a whole nother matter. I don't want to go into that either. So basically how it's covered now is it's $800 flat out, and then we have to pay for medications, which is even more expensive. But we're not going to delve too much into the whole pricing. But pretty much since the new year turned over and Blue Cross was nice enough to start kind of covering it to where we could afford IUIs, we decided that, you know, the thing is, you know, with the testing, they had informed me that for a woman my age, you know, I have a low egg count, which means I only have a limited amount of time to get a child, and they told us to get on it, which I kind of figured because I felt a ticking clock on the inside. That's a real thing. So I felt that already, so I knew that was a thing for us. So we went head on into the IUI world.
And the doctor did tell us the more of them that we did, the higher success rate. The success rate went up with each one.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just like, oh, we tried and it didn't work, let's just keep trying it, because that's the definition of insanity, trying the same thing over for different results. But the doctor did tell us that with each one we did, there was a greater chance.
Right.
So it was better to keep trying than to not keep trying.
And he was very assured at the fact that, you know, they were worried about the quality of my eggs because they knew that they could be poor since I've had miscarriages. But he assured us that he really thought there was a good egg in there somewhere, and it was just a matter of us getting it. So we did several IUIs. I don't want to exactly number them and then go through which ones were success or not, because I'm not really too keen on how they all fell month by month. But I'm pretty sure we had done 3 cycles, got pregnant.
On the third one.
On the third one.
Right.
So we had done 5. And that, well, 5th one really. We got pregnant. And we were excited, of course.
We were happy. Told everybody, you know, this is what we needed to do. We did it.
We had no clue.
Right. We was happy.
Oblivious.
It was Valentine's time. There was snow on the ground. But we didn't care. We was running around telling everybody.
And don't think we're crazy at first, because it wasn't like we just got the test. The thing of it was they did the same thing the other doctor did, and they tracked my HCG. And the numbers were doubling like they were supposed to. And everything was looking good for a couple weeks there. And we were really thinking this was it. And then just one day they called us up and they said, you know, your blood work from yesterday, your numbers dropped to 40 or 30 or whatever it was. So you are going to have a miscarriage, so we're going to need you to stop the progesterone. Heartbreaking, again. Yeah. But we cried through it. We tried to swallow more of that pain. Sorry, guys. And decided what we need to do is we're just going to have to brush ourselves off once again and keep going. Maybe it'll work. So, yet again, we had to wait for another cycle, of course, because we got to make sure that, you know, everything was okay with the miscarriage and not bleeding too much. So then we did 2 more rounds of IUIs, starting with that new cycle, and we popped up pregnant again. So obviously the problem was not getting pregnant, and the doctor even verified there's nothing wrong with me getting pregnant. My body's great as far as that's concerned. And then we were fooled once again, because this time we kind of kept it on the down low for the first couple of weeks. But the numbers were looking even better than they did with the last one. I think the numbers got up to 600-700, something like that.
I got close to 1,000.
Yeah, it was up there. And we were really excited. Then we had a family vacation. On the way back from that family vacation, I had some bleeding. So we called the doctor. They brought us in the next day, did blood work, and my numbers completely dropped back to 10. It was hard. It was another loss. I remember just falling to the ground, kind of crying and asking God, why? I don't get this. It was hard, and I just didn't understand why we were getting these blessings and then losing them. It was rough. And I think we came to the conclusion somewhere in there that this was too much. I mean, this was hard on us mentally, physically, financially. I mean, the amount of time and money and effort that this takes, it's completely exhausting. And when you're getting to the end of the day,
it's kind of like a full-time job you don't get paid for.
Right.
It's like a full-time job you pay to go to.
Right. And we were so concerned about spending so much money to get this baby that once we got it, how are we going to take care of it? You know? So we decided, you know, we had too much debt into this, and we didn't know how much further we could go with it. And we were so mentally exhausted, especially me with all the loss, that we felt like we needed a break. We needed to mentally just get ourselves back together. And our marriage kind of hit its very first struggle at that point, I felt like, because we had this absence where, like, we had spent all this time of all we're ever talking about is fertility treatments and this and that and with trying to get the baby. And it just seemed like once we didn't have that, we were kind of scared because we kind of didn't realize how to talk to each other. So we said, we can't do this. We've got to take a break for at least a little while. So we did. And 3 months later, we felt like we got ourselves back together in a good place. And we both came to terms with, we're just going to have to keep doing this. It sucks to do it to ourselves, but we want a child so bad. You know, we want that little human being to raise and become a beautiful person, and our chance to be able to create that beautiful person to send off into the world. So we decided we're just going to have to keep doing whatever it takes. And we went back again. We did a couple of IUIs and no success. So once again, we were like, we just don't know. We're just going to have to maybe accept the fact that it's not going to happen for us, which is really heartbreaking.
Well, and then the fact you were going back to school.
Right. I had kind of made some personal life decisions of I'd already gotten an AA at a community college near us. I wanted to go back and get into something like either nursing or CNA. I specifically picked CNA because the program nearby us was very great and highly recommended.
CMA, not CNA. CMA.
Yeah. Anyway, it was almost a year, and then I got accepted into the program, started the schooling, and 3 months into my schooling,
guess what happened all on its own?
wow, we were pregnant, and I did not expect that.
Neither one of us did.
We don't even know how it happened.
We weren't keeping track of anything.
We weren't doing nothing.
All doing schoolwork. We didn't track anything. We weren't even worried about it.
We dealt with a lot of controversy because people almost didn't believe that we got pregnant on our own.
Because not only did we get pregnant, we got pregnant with three. 1, 2, 3.
We almost dropped down dead in the office when they told us there was 3 babies in there. It was unbelievable. They tracked my numbers. Everything was looking so good. My numbers were
going up and going up and going up.
Everything was looking so great. I mean, my numbers got into what, 12,000?
10,000.
And we were so ecstatic, and we just could not believe
we actually made it to ultrasound.
Right.
Which we had
First
before.
ultrasound. We've never done that before.
And you could definitely see the little sacks in there.
Yeah, you could. Beautiful, wonderful.
We was excited.
We were. We got ultrasound pictures for once. We were able to show everybody. We were really thinking, wow, God really did truly bless us with a true miracle.
We weren't expecting it.
We weren't expecting it.
But we were happy.
Yeah. Best time ever. And because of the pregnancy, they put me on bed rest. They're very concerned about, because I did have some spotting. So I got put on bed rest, which means I had to quit my schooling. I felt that was the right choice to make. I still stand by that. So yeah, and we were going to let this carry out. unfortunately, the spotting got to be too much, and we were having to go in every 3 days or so to get looked at and talk to the doctor. We had the first ultrasound, which wasn't too bad. We saw the sacs. They told us that there wasn't a heartbeat, but I also wasn't keeping track of my period, so we weren't even really sure how far along I was. They were saying that I was registering at 6 weeks, but they weren't sure because of my period, because we didn't know when that was. And so they said, well, just let's give it 2 weeks. We'll track the numbers. You'll come back in for the ultrasound where we should see the heartbeats. So we were thinking everything was okay. And in fact, the day before that next ultrasound, they called me with the great news of the numbers are still going up. So I'm like, all right. We go into that next ultrasound, and there were no heartbeats.
They just said that it wasn't progressing like it should be.
Right. They were very concerned that these pregnancies were abnormal, and they actually had a concern that there could be a tubal pregnancy as well. So the doctor's honest opinion to us was, especially with our history, that we should do an endometrial aspiration, which is where they go in, they clip part of the pregnancy tissue and take it out. At the time, I did not realize this, and I should have because I signed the papers for it, but this meant that when they did this procedure, it terminated the pregnancy. I didn't realize that. I don't think he realized that either, even though we should have.
We was just worried about her health.
Right. We were so concerned because if it was there was a chance of a tubal pregnancy, my life was in danger. So we felt like we made the right choice. This is what the doctors were advising. So we made the choice. I had it done, which is the most painful thing ever. They clipped it, sent it off for testing, and it came back that there was no tubal pregnancy. So a couple weeks later, I stopped the progesterone that they had me on. A couple weeks later, it was actually 1 week before we would have been into the second trimester, and we lost all three. One of the most painful and heart-wrenching miscarriage for me. Not that all of them aren't heart-wrenching, and how much it hurt to lose each and every one, but that one was very hard. I think it was hard on both of us. Mm-hmm. We weren't really sure what to think about that. We really thought that since this happened on its own and everything was looking so good, we just couldn't understand why.
And that was toward the beginning of 2015, just to give you a timeline of where we're at now.
Yeah.
But since then, we haven't really...
Well, we went back to the baby doctor. We told him we weren't really ready to dive back into anything. We needed some time to kind of get past this. Regroup. He understood. So we kind of just took it on our own. We did get a second opinion by going to the only other fertility specialist around here. And they pretty much just verified what we've been told.
Right.
So it's not like we found out anything new.
And fast forward to now.
Now, here we are.
We're back to the original baby doctor.
Yes, original baby doctor.
We are going to do another cycle of IUI. Now, the doctor has told us that, in his opinion, the absolute best chance for us to have a child would be do IVF, in vitro fertilization.
Right.
Where they take her eggs out, they take my part out, they put them together, then they put them back in. That is extremely expensive.
You people have no idea.
We cannot afford that.
Right.
And he understands that, and he says that he's hoping there's a way to lower that price. But for right now, it's
like just to
up there, and we can't reach it.
Yeah, it's just not reachable, and we're more candidates for that.
Right, but so we're still gonna try with the IUIs.
Because those are more affordable.
They're more affordable. The insurance does cover it after we meet the deductible, but we're not getting the financial stuff with y'all.
Yeah, not now.
It's just more affordable. You know, basically we're, you know, rolling.
Increasing the odds. We're basically rolling the dice,
and
hoping to get the good egg.
Hoping the good egg.
The IVF would be them taking out my eggs, and actually they'll do a genetic screening, and that would actually tell us if we would ever be able to have children, at least by my own eggs. And you can do that, and you should do that as part of the IVF process, because if there are good eggs when they do that, they can then send them back for them to put back in me. So it's just a matter of if there are any good eggs in there, which the doctor does think there is. Mm-hmm. It's just the right timing of getting that right egg. So this is like rolling the die, and hopefully that one of the die lands on a good egg, and that egg gets fertilized, and it happens for us. We're okay with doing that for now. We're affordable to do it. We're in the process right now of the IUI, which brings us here to you guys. We want to bring you along with the journey. We're willing to open up our lives, our home, our everything to show you a little bit of what it's like. It's hard, it's not easy. We're going to try to bring you on as much as we can, show you as much as you can, educate you a little bit along the way. Hopefully you'd be interested in that. If you are and you do want us to keep making videos, definitely give us a likes, comment. You can hopefully in further videos, when I get a little bit better at this, I'll be providing links where you can get in touch with us personally.
Go ahead and subscribe. You know, we're going to be making as many videos as possible. We'll try to do at least, 2 a week.
Right. For right now, we're going to be kind of just throwing stuff at you, and I hate that it's that way, but it's just going to have to be because of the timing. I'm sorry that it'll be so chaotic. But there'll just be things here and there, and we're going to try to keep you as informed and in order as possible. So we apologize for that if it's not quite right. And of course, if you have any questions or anything, or you want us to do a certain video on anything, definitely let us know.
Like we said, we just started a cycle. She's doing injections, which will be covered in a later video.
Right.
We already took up way too much time right now.
Yeah, we did.
But, just in case there's any couples out there that are going what we're going through, or thinking about going to see a fertility specialist, or,
anybody who's even starting even if you're starting in the process, our heart goes out to you. We're here for you. Don't think you're alone. Don't be ashamed of this. And it's about time we start talking about it. Let's not be afraid to spread the awareness about this. It's something that's hard, and I don't want anyone out there to ever go through it alone. So, alright guys, let us know. Hopefully you like this. I hope we didn't bore you too much. Hopefully this will be the least amount of talking. Hopefully.
No, promise you they won't be this boring in the future.
Yes,
promise.
We try not
please
to
don't
be.
Don't get discouraged, please.
Yeah, stick with us, please. So, we just wanted to let you guys know. Thank you for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to us. And hopefully you'll stick with us and follow us along in this journey. And we appreciate that if you do. So, as always, be good, beautiful people.
Thanks.
Mwah.